the first thing is, just reflecting again on that, why the network members do stay engaged. So going back to that feeling of belonging, feeling of being part of something. I know in another session, we also talked about tackling a large problem on your own feels sometimes like it's just not going to happen, but being able to connect with other people who also want to solve this challenge with you feels more empowering, and it feels like it's more likely to happen, which I feel is quite topical over the past couple of days. Having that shared identity and purpose and common values. So we talked a bit about that in the session 1. I think the feeling valued for their contribution, I think, is really important. So when we see our members doing things for the network, sometimes you might not see everything that's happening and what they're putting into the network, but are there ways to be able to celebrate these members? Are there ways to make them feel that their contributions are being recognized as well? So, sure, no worries, Brendan. Yeah, so and then that feeling of being able to join and contribute to the network. So are there enough places for them to do that? Do they feel free to be able to do that? Is there the right balance as well between sort of the give and the get as well within the relationship, the network? And do they feel that their needs are addressed? So if they're coming with certain challenges, are there spaces to be able to do that? Do they know how to connect to people to be able to learn and go through those challenges either together or learn from each other? Working towards goals, having clear and appropriate ways to make decisions, and having adequate resources to sustain their work. So I think that's just a list that we've put together, and obviously there can be many, many more things that go on that list. I mean, feel free to jump in if you think of anything else, because there was another one that we heard yesterday that was around being able, like knowing that they're going to be able to access the right types of materials, because I think that's another important sort of point, is that yes, you've got this network, and yes, you've got all of these sort of opportunities for them to get involved, but are the materials and the activities actually appropriate for what they want to know and learn? So I think that one was really important as well.
I think I've got a couple that sort of weave a bit through some of those. One, I think, is being able to influence the network, right? Because it's the thing about, if it's something being done to you when you're very passive, then fine, but you won't engage in the same way as if you are actively engaged. So, right, I think this should happen, great. And that's, where you have your value in the contribution and being able to contribute and join, but at a strategic level. And then for me, I think it's probably more why network members don't disengage, is something around being reliable. Because I think if you say things and people make their plans around, and this varies on who they are, right? But certainly for myself, if people say this is going to happen, then it doesn't, and dates change and things aren't there and all this sort of stuff, quite quickly you're like, but I mean, they're not valuing, but respecting the commitment that it takes for someone with, other priorities and other things going on. So I think you have to really prioritize that, so that whatever you say is going to happen does happen. You follow up on things, you make sure that whatever the event says that's what it is, and that's when it happens, and so that people feel confident that they can trust what is going on, what is going to happen. I think that's if you get that wrong, disengagement happens very rapidly and takes a long time to rebuild, I think.
Yeah, agreed.